Hey, y'all. This is Casey from Pizzazz. I'm here today to show you a fun little free tutorial. If you are on our email list, let me see. I'm sorry, this is all kind of jank. If you're on our email list, we sent you a fun screensaver on a couple of days ago. And today we're going to show you how to, my camera is like losing its hold. So just bear with me here. We may have to, let's see, we might have to make a few adjustments. Sorry, Charlie. But anyway, today I'm going to show you how to hand letter, how to watercolor. This is not holding. So hang tight. So sorry. This is the problem with live anything, is it's just not holding. Ugh. All right. Well, you're going to get a little for a second. I will lower this in just a bit, but I'm going to show you how to take this card and this is a digital version, but I'm going to show you on how to use this on watercolor paper to use as some inspiration. Okay. So this is, again, we sent this to all of our lettering club members. You all have this, and we sent out a screensaver to a lot of y'all in your email as well, if you're on our email list. So what I'm going to do, I need to rearrange this camera. So I'm going to take myself out of the picture. I'm going to lower this and hope that it kind of stabilizes just a bit, and then we will get rolling. So here is this. All right, so I'm going to lower it, pull it forward. Hang tight. I'm hoping if it's lowered just a bit, it will stay. It's almost like my phone is too heavy for the holder all of a sudden. Even though I've used this multiple. Oh, I've got an idea. Hang tight. Sorry if I'm making you a little bit sick. All right. All right. Okay. So there we go. We got it. So I've got watercolor paper. I've just cut it in half, basically. So we just I'm going to be doing the design on one, and the other piece I'm just going to kind of use for like testing my colors. All right. So I've got my watercolor paper. I've got my little inspiration card. I've got some watercolors. Y'all know I go back and forth all the time on using either this kind, or I have my Crayolas over here. You can use whatever kind of watercolor paper you've got. And this is going to be my background. But then I'm also going to letter using my Posca pen. So I've got this pink Posca pen. Let's see, what color is this? This is a light pink. 5M. Of course, any paint pen would do. And you could even do this with any kind of marker. It doesn't have to be Posca. I've got my white to give just a little bit of that white outline. And then for just a little extra something, I've got some embossing. Okay. So if you will look on this card, you see that it's kind of every once in a while has some of the gold little flecks. So this is something we sent to our lettering club members a while back, but if you're in the club, you still probably have a lot of this left over because a little bit goes a long way. So I've got the embossing powder, embossing pen. Lettering club members, you have both of these, and a heat gun. Okay. Anytime you're doing embossing, you're going to need a heat gun as well. All right. So that is all of my stuff. I do believe I've got a pencil as well. And of course, I guess I didn't mention this, but a paintbrush and a water cup. All right, so let's get rolling. We are going to kind of sketch off where we want our florals to be first, and then we are going to letter on top of it. So again, I'm going to be using this as my inspiration. And here we go. I'm just going to do some big kind of circles. If you love watercolor, you may have heard us talk about it. We're trying to let everybody know. We've got another, it's a 3-night workshop of watercolor and lettering, where we are going to be doing some floral crosses, both on watercolor paper, in a Bible journal, and on some small cards. Emily says, I can't figure out the heat gun with the embossing. I'm wondering, Emily, when we get to that part, we can chat about it. I'm wondering if you don't have it on a high enough setting. All right, so I've got kind of 4 flowers or 4 circles here. I always know I'm going to want a 5th one. We always want to have 5. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw a little circle in here. And then just some leaf shapes. Now, you don't have to draw this out. If it makes you feel better just to paint it, you totally can. Because the reason I say that is because sometimes you can see the pencil line through the watercolor. Now, this doesn't have anything up here, but I think I'm going to still kind of put a little greenery right there. Okay, so we've got just a very light sketch, and now we're going to start adding in some paint. Now, I told you this is going to be my little tester. Okay, this is my tester. This is my reel. So when I say tester, I'm going to play around with color. So let me scoot all this over so you can kind of see how I'm playing around with it. So I've got this kind of nude color here that I like. I'm just going to look and see how that looks there. And I do like that, but maybe if I take a little bit of this color, any kind of non-porous surface is good for a mixing surface. So this has got a lot of junk on it, but I can still use a little spot. So I might put a little bit of this. Well, it might be too dirty. Might be all mixing in. And then let's do just a little bit of the red mixed in to that nude color. And then let's look at that. Yeah, I like that color a lot. Okay, so I like both of these colors, this one and a little bit of the red mixed in with that. Somebody says, what is the name of the pens you are using for today? These pens are Posca pens, Posca. They are like paint pens. They are fabulous for all kinds of surfaces. They're good for canvases, glass, wood. Today will be right here. All right, so now that I have kind of tested it, let me make a little bit more of the paint color that I like, which is going to be a little bit of that red mixed with a little bit of the fleshy tone. All right, and I'm going to come over here to my page where I just sketched off some circles very lightly, and I'm going to just kind of throw some of this in here. Now I'm going in a circular motion, but I am not feeling the need to have everything covered. Okay, so I'm letting there be some white space showing. And I'm going to use that same color. I might need to mix a little bit more of it. Okay, so mix it. This is a little bit brighter, so let me just try to put a little more of this into it. This might be a little bit darker, but that's going to be okay. And then we'll do the same thing down here in this one. So I'm going to kind of do this little curve that way, curve this way, curve this way, curve this way. Kimberly, glad you are here. Kimberly says, this is my first time. Will the video stay here so we can come back to it later? Yes, ma'am. This will stay on our Facebook page, on this Pizzazz Facebook page. All right, so we're doing lots of these little curves. I'm curving it this way. Do you see how all it really is? It's like a little C and a little backward C. And I'm doing that over and over, and I'm allowing some of the white to show through. Okay. Now I think I may do some that are just this color right here, that fleshy color. Same thing, just kind of the little C, backward C, just kind of going in that circle, but not filling it in solid. And let's see what it's like to maybe add a little bit of our orange to this mixture. Remember, this is the red and the flesh. And so I'm going to do a little bit of this orange. Right now it looks kind of too bright, but let me just use my test page to see. Yeah, too bright. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more of this to it. You could also hit it with some white. You know what else I might do? Anytime you have a color and you want it to look a little bit dirtier, like this is looking almost too bright orange, I want it to be a little bit more muted. You can add, like on the color wheel, you can add its complementary color. So orange on the color wheel has a complement of blue. Okay. Well, a lot of times we're like, don't mix those two together because they turn a nasty brown, and they do. But when you're wanting it to look a little bit brown, that works in your favor. So I put a little bit of that blue right there, and let's see what that's going to look like. Yeah, I like it. Do y'all see how that just has a little bit warmer tone? And I like it. So we will use this and do, again, we've got the little C, and then the backward C, and then the bigger C, and then backward C. It just kind of gets bigger and bigger. Just doing these curves and allowing some of it to stay white. And then right down here, we'll do the same thing. Yes, I did get some splatters. No biggie. You will find we don't stress about mistakes around here. We just roll with it. It's the only way for this to be peace and play. We talk all the time about how sitting down and drawing and painting and lettering is peace and play. It's a little bit playful because it's something maybe you haven't done before, maybe something you haven't done in a while. And it's for sure peaceful because there's a ton of studies that just show the benefits of reducing stress and anxiety when you sit down and create. So, are you going to get peace and play if you are freaked out about things being perfect? No, you are not. So when you get a little splatter, you're just going to roll with it. All right, so that is good for this first little layer of color, I do believe. Now let's go to some of our greens. Let's see. I like this green as is, I think, but it may be too dark. So I think I'll just do it with a little bit of brown. So we're going to pull in a green. I want it to have a little bit more of a muted tone. So I'm going to do some brown too, kind of like a dirty green. And then maybe some white. I know when it's mixing like this, you can't really see what's happening. But you can. There we go. Yep, I like it. Okay. So I'm just going to throw this color on a few of these leaves that I drew out. I want there to be a couple of shades of green though, so I'm not going to have them all this same color. Okay, then maybe we will make a bluish green. So we'll come back to this same green that I just used. Maybe put in a little bit of the blue. It's kind of a navy. And let me, again, put it on my piece of paper, give it a look, and I like it. And so I will use what I just mixed right in here. Do you see how it's still light and pale and pretty. It's just a slight different shade. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm also going to use this color just a little bit. It's kind of in some of this filler, just little scribbles, just so it doesn't look like there's a hole. All right, I think I'm going to mix a little bit more of the color that I just had, which was a little bit of the green, a little bit of that navy. And I'm just going to come back into some of these and just give it a little something. Just kind of on one side. Slight variation of color. All right, and I think this is going to be it for my painting. Okay, so hey, Diane. Diane says, yay, my first time as well. Don't have time right now, but would love to come back later. Yep, it'll be here. Also, if you've not signed up for our Blooms, our Beautiful Blooms class yet, that is going to be starting on February 28th. That's going to be inside a private Facebook group. We're going to have a morning devotion every morning. We call it Morning Mindsets. And we're going to have a every night at 7 p.m. on the 28th. March 1st and March 2nd, we're going to be going through a little bit slower, some drawing, watercolor, and lettering. So if you love this, be sure to click on that link and join that private Facebook group to get a little bit more of a deep dive. I'm going to hit this with a heat gun just to dry some of these spots. You could also do this with a hair dryer. So basically, I'm just impatient and I want these spots to be dried before I can letter on top. So I'm going to hit it with a heat gun or a blow dryer. Okay. All right, so now I am going to pencil out the Love Never Fails. Again, this is we sent the screensaver to y'all earlier. This is a scripture card that our lettering club members have. So right down here, it has 1 Corinthians 13:4-8. Or actually, and it has 2. So it always protects, always trusts, always, it starts up here. Sorry. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. So love never fails. We are going to letter this. Now, even though this is just kind of, it's not cursive, it's kind of print, there is still some style to this lettering. So we're going to start right in the middle with never. You might not can see it really great with my pencil. I'm just going to kind of do it small, but let's look at this a bit. So you see that this end, like it's higher on this side than it is on this side. So you see that? So it's not this perfect on a line kind of an end. It's kind of got a little bit of an angle, comes down, goes back up, but not quite as high. The E, look at it. It goes a little bit higher. Okay, we have a little bit of a bounce. If this is a straight line, that E is not on that straight line right next to it. So it's going to go a little higher. And the crossbar of the E is going to be a little bit lower here, which we see right there. The V is going to be little, just smaller, right there in the middle of the page. And then another tall E. And then R is going to be a shorter line. It's not as tall as the E. And it's a very exaggerated curve and a little bitty kick out. Y'all see that? So we've got this exaggerated curve, a little bitty kick out. So there's my never. So even though this is print, okay, up and down, solid print, there is still a little bit of style to it. There's the bounce factor, down, up, down, up. There's the lower crossbars, the big curves, and the little kick out. All right. So don't just look at it and like, oh, it's just print, because there's a little more to it than just print. So now we're going to do love. We see that the L doesn't start right on top of the N, comes over just a bit. We also see that it's not straight up and down. This is at an angle, and then this goes up at an angle, not straight across. So here we go. We're going to come down a little bit of an angle, go up a little bit of an angle. O, V. The second part of the V is a little bit higher than this part. Again, just doing some fun little stylized pieces. And this is going to come down a little bit lower just to kind of fit into this like a puzzle. Over, over, and this is a lower crossbar. So we've got love, never, coming all the way down. 4 fails. So I'm going to try to keep fails kind of in position of love, if that makes sense, kind of lined up right up underneath that. So right here will be kind of at an angle. Again, this is not going straight across. It's going up at an angle. Let's notice the A. It goes up. It gets close to that E, and it has a long coming down. They are not in the same spot. This one goes lower. This descends a little bit lower. So there's the top part of the A, and it comes down. Lower crossbars. I. This L is going to come a little bit lower than the I. And then this S will fit right into that. All right. So now that we have kind of, you've penciled it off, there's anything you don't like, you can erase it. And then we're going to come in. I'm going to come in with this Posca pen. Now, this Posca pen is not quite the same color here, but I think it will still work. So I'm going to just trace over this. And what you're going to see is it's going to still need a little bit more defining. So I'm going to show y'all how we're going to do that. All I'm doing is tracing over this a few times just to kind of create a little bit of a thickness. I'm not doing anything fancy like thickening the downstrokes, nothing like that right now. I'm just going over these solid lines multiple times just to create a little bit of a thickness. And it kicks out. All right, so we've got that on there. Now I am going to get my white Posca pen too. Hey, Miss Pam Farr, I'm glad you're on here today. And Amanda, glad that it's your first time. Awesome. We got lots of y'all on here. So I'm glad y'all are here. A lot of y'all, if it's your first time, if you are not on our text list and you want to be on our text list, you can just text the word or text our number, which is 1334. We send out little reminders that we're going live. 1334-249-1818. You can just text the word live or whatever you want to do if you're not already on that text list. So 1334-249-1818. All right. So hey, Donna, glad you are here this morning too. Sarah says Posca pen. Is that how you spell it? You got it. Well, no, it's not an A, it's an O. And I am saying Posca, not pasta. All right, this is it, Posca. Okay, all right, so I'm going to try to bring this down just a little bit more. I feel like it looks a little out of focus to me. I'm not real sure why. Maybe. All right, so I'm going to take this white. Now here it's outlined all around. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. So I'm for sure going to go on the left side. And then I'm going to make a decision. Like, do I want to go all the way around or do I not? I'm my little practice paper over here. I'm using it to kind of pump my pen because it seems a little running low. I might grab another. I think I've got another white one over here. So I've just got to make a decision, and I think I'm just going to keep this on the left side. I don't know. Left and left. So it's on the left side here, and then underneath here. It's not showing up as white as it usually does just because this pink is still a little bit wet. So it's kind of picking up on some of that pink as well. All right, so hang tight. I'm just trying to pump this pen. Going to go on the left side here, and then right up under here, and then on the left side. Okay, going right here on the left. And then up underneath. Can you use Posca pens in your Bible if you gesso it first? I know I would definitely not use them if I didn't gesso it. I have not tested if you do gesso it. We use a lot of stuff for Bible journaling. I have never used a Posca pen though, so I don't know the answer to that right offhand. I don't have my Bible journaling or my journaling Bible in here with me. A lot of times when I don't know, what I will do is I will turn to the back page of my journaling Bible and I will just scribble on it with whatever tool I have. Oh, I just went and did this on the right instead of the left. It's okay. I'll come back over here. So yeah, so that's one little tip. Back there on the back, the pages that kind of don't have anything except, you know, it's like there's usually a few blank pages or maybe some pages that just have just like in the front, there's like copyright pages and such. Those are like my test pages. So I will take whatever I'm curious about, do a little scribble, and then come back. When you see me taking my pen away, what I am doing over here on the side, remember on this practice page that I had, I'm just pumping it. Sometimes it gets some of the pink on there, so I'll scribble, but mostly what I'm doing is pumping like this to get that flow going again. Okay, so when I take it off, that is what you are seeing, or you're not seeing me do. That's what I'm doing. I'm not thinking, y'all. You're not really supposed to go on the left and the right. I usually do the right, so my muscle memory is jumping over there to the right, even though I said I was doing the left this time. But it's peace and play. I am not going to worry about it. It will be whatever it is. All right. All right, so I like it. I like it. There's a few places I feel like it needs to be a little bit more kind of pronounced. So what we're about to do, we're about to put a little bit of our gold embossing. Now, let me tell you, I think this could be done right now. I think it'll be it. Okay, but if you want to play around with the embossing, you can. So here is a sample that Katie did yesterday. She was doing this, and so you see sometimes the embossing can look, it looks cool, and then sometimes it looks like a darker something that you don't really, you might not want it to have that darker. You might like the soft and subdued. I personally am loving the soft and subdued, but here we go. I'm going to still show you a little bit of our embossing. So I'm going to kind of use some of this as an example. I see that there's some curves in here. I don't want it to fight with my letters, so I'll just kind of do just a few just light curves here, maybe here. You can't really see, okay? I know you can't see what I'm doing. I know, okay? You can't when you're with this. I also like how on these leaves, it kind of just has a little bit of lines. Sometimes it's just little dots, lines. Pam Farr, I agree. Pam said, it's gorgeous just like this. I agree. I really am only showing y'all the embossing because I told you I would. If I was just creating this on my own, and you know how you're constantly making decisions and sometimes you just change your mind. I've totally changed my mind about wanting to put the embossing on, but since I started and I told y'all I was going to show you how to use this, I'm going to show you, but I like it as is. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put a little bit of paper behind this. We got I did my embossing pen on there. I'm going to grab my embossing powder. And you just kind of, wherever you put it, you just throw it on. Okay, so this is just a little bit here and there. It looks like maybe I need probably some up here since I didn't do any up there. So let me do a little bit on the leaves up there. And let's see. Somebody says, what type of pen are you using for the embossing? This is not a Posca pen. No, this is called Letter It by Ranger. It is called an embossing pen. So again, we are going to be opening our lettering club soon. March, let me think, what is it? March 3rd, we are opening our lettering club. If you love doing this type of stuff, you might love being in our lettering club because we send you stuff like this. A lot of the stuff that we teach with, we also send it to you. So our lettering club members, they've got, different Posca pens. They've got the embossing pens and powders. They've got the scripture cards for references. These are some of the things that we send. Our membership is it's not just a box membership. We send a box, but we also teach live inside of it. So, you know what? This is just going to be a mess. It ain't going in there right now. I'll get it in there after this. All right. I like it. I like it. I like it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a lid on this. In a moment, I'll just use another piece of paper up under this and pour this whole thing into here. I might should just do that right now. Let me do that right now. This is a picture that we did earlier in the week as well. I think we did this on Valentine's Day. So if you this is your first time here and you want a little bit more freebies, we did this and we painted it on Tuesday. So go back into our videos and you can find that as well. I'm just using it as a little bit of a catch-all right now. It caught most, not all. All right. All right. So now it is time. I'm going to kind of really get all of this off. And now it comes time for the heat gun. Now, I think it was Emily earlier saying that the heat gun never works for her. So there are two settings, okay? And also not all heat guns are created equal as far as how fast it dries or it heats up, okay? So some things might take a little bit longer. So just have patience with it. So here we go. I'm going to turn this on. And y'all watch what it does on these little pieces. Once it almost melts it, but in a cool way. You can start to see how that goes from that dark glitter to like a little bit more metallic. It's like it creates just a jump in the shine. Okay, so that has about got. I did smear that. Let me see if I might can think of a way to fix it. Now I will say, the heat gun kind of wrinkles your page just a little bit, but it will lay back out once you give it a little bit. So I'm not loving that. I liked it as a sprinkle, and then I must have like put my hand on it. So I'm just going to get some extra water. I'm going to see if this will work or not. So I've got water. I'm loosening it up right here with water. And then I'm going to grab a piece of a paper towel and see. It might not. If it's fresh and new, it comes up. But I did a little bit. That's better than it was. Perfect. All right. So that is that. So let me pull this back up. Hope y'all had fun with that. Let me turn this overhead light off so I don't have it shine on my forehead. But hope y'all had fun with that. We like to just show you just fun little ways to get creative. So again, if you want to get on our text list, feel free just to shoot us a message at 1-334-249-1818. I will hold this up so you can kind of see the finished piece. So if you see the embossing, when you hit it with that heat gun, it's when it goes to a new level of that gold shine. So pretty cool. Here is this. Here is this that we were using as our inspiration. Hope y'all have fun with it. If you want more, y'all be sure to get signed up for our Beautiful Blooms workshop happening February 28th. That's going to be a Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Thursday. We have got 3 days of spending, the morning time. We will have a devotion. We are faith-based on what we do. And so in the morning inside that workshop, we will have a devotion. And at night, we will do some drawing and some painting in 3 different formats. Same picture. We're going to show you in 3 different surfaces. If you are a Lettering Club member already, you've got access to that. No extra charge. Your link is inside the Whatever Letter Facebook group, so be sure to do that. So anyway, that is it for today. I've got a couple more freebies coming at you next week, and And then I'll be going out of town for the end of next week. And then we will get started on February 28th. So y'all let me know if you got questions. If you do this, post it because we want to see it. All right, y'all. See ya.